in giving this wonderful reception. Many of you here this evening represent organisations with whom the Queen has been affiliated for over 60 years.
For years, people have wondered what really happened with the royal family's most private jewels. Rumors kept growing, but nothing was ever certain. That changed when a new report claimed that Princess Alexandra quietly chose to give the Queen Mother's personal jewels to Catherine instead of Camilla. The story shared details many had never heard before, including hints about family traditions and silent tensions. The decision was so unexpected that many people were shocked. Why did Alexandra choose Catherine? And why leave Camilla out in this imagined royal moment? Join us as we uncover the truth behind this surprising turn of events. Princess Alexandra passes jewelries to Catherine. It's often said that one of the clearest ways a person shows trust and acceptance in the royal household is by passing down some of their most treasured possessions. In the British royal family, jewelry is not just decoration. It is a symbol of recognition and inclusion. Once such pieces are worn publicly, they make a mark that is impossible to ignore. Recently, Princess Catherine has been seen wearing several significant items, pieces that many believe were once associated with Princess Alexandra. Some may not notice at first, but keen observers understand the significance of each piece and a subtle way these items signal a deeper connection between two generations of royals. But what many believe makes these appearances even more intriguing will surprise you, and it's something you'll definitely want to see. The very first sign of this came when Catherine appeared at a state banquet in 2022, wearing the Queen Alexandra three-feather brooch. This jewelry was meant to honor the late Queen, but it was originally worn by Princess Alexandra herself. The brooch is an elegant piece featuring intricate detailing and a distinctive design that immediately identifies it as a royal heirloom. The moment Catherine appeared with it, royal watchers noted the unmistakable link, a jewel that had been Alexandra's choice now resting on the shoulder of the Princess of Wales. The brooch, worn with precision, caught the eye of people not only for its beauty, but also for its historic significance, suggesting a transfer of trust and acceptance within the family. Not long after, Catherine was photographed wearing pearl drop earrings that Princess Alexandra has been seen wearing at public events. These earrings are understated yet refined, perfectly complementing formal attire while remaining distinctly royal. Catherine's first appearance with them was during a remembrance service, where they added subtle elegance to her ensemble. The pearl drop earrings, worn by Alexandra in past decades, seemed to carry with them a quiet message of continuity and connection. Observers noted the resemblance immediately, sparking discussions about the potential passing down of private jewelry from Alexandra to Catherine. Another striking example appeared when Catherine attended the Earthshot Prize Awards wearing an emerald and diamond choker, a piece previously associated with Princess Alexandra during royal tours in the 1980s. The choker's deep green gemstones, surrounded by glittering diamonds, created a regal effect that was impossible to miss. Photographs from the event quickly circulated, showing Catherine in a light that echoed Alexandra's past public appearances. The link between the two royals through this jewelry seemed more than coincidental, with many commenting on the sense of legacy being carried forward by Catherine. But it did not end there. Catherine has also been seen wearing a diamond and pearl leaf brooch that Princess Alexandra herself has worn to state events. This brooch, featuring delicately arranged diamonds and pearls in a leafy pattern, appeared on Catherine during a diplomatic reception in 2023. Its placement on her outfit, the sparkle of the diamonds catching the light, and the precision with which it was worn all suggested careful planning. The public could not help but notice the parallel to Alexandra's own style, reinforcing the impression that these jewels are now bridging two generations of royal women. At a formal Commonwealth event, Catherine wore a maple leaf brooch, another piece previously associated with Alexandra. The brooch, made of platinum and set with diamonds, had been part of Alexandra's public wardrobe during visits to Canada in the past. Catherine's use of the brooch mirrored Alexandra's choice decades earlier, highlighting the subtle messaging inherent in the passing down of such pieces. It was clear to those who follow royal fashion closely. Each jewel worn by Catherine is a careful nod to history, and possibly a sign of Alexandra's approval and endorsement. Catherine's appearances with pearls and diamond earrings that Alexandra wore to ceremonial occasions have also drawn attention. At a banquet honoring a foreign dignitary in 2022, Catherine wore these earrings alongside a matching pearl necklace. The ensemble created an elegant, cohesive look, and royal commentators quickly pointed out that Alexandra had been photographed wearing the same earrings at similar events in her own era. The pairing of these pieces on Catherine seemed deliberate, suggesting a quiet handover of some of Alexandra's most cherished jewelry. The pattern continued with tiaras and more elaborate pieces. Catherine has been seen wearing the Oriental circlet tiara, a piece Alexandra has worn at highly formal state events. The tiara, featuring an array of sparkling diamonds, first appeared on Catherine at a 2023 state dinner. Observers noted the similarities to Alexandra's public appearances, emphasizing the idea that the tiara may have been entrusted to Catherine for ceremonial purposes. Its presence further underscores the perception that Alexandra's jewelry is now being incorporated into Catherine's public collection, reinforcing her prominence within the royal family. And this is where it gets interesting. Another notable example is the Strathmore Rose tiara, which Catherine wore to a diplomatic dinner in 2023. Alexandra had been photographed wearing the same piece during her official engagements years earlier, and the similarities in how the tiara was styled on both women did not go unnoticed. The event was widely covered in the press, and images of Catherine with the tiara sparked commentary about Alexandra's influence on Catherine's growing role. The tiara, rare and elegant, signals both heritage and trust.
Many of you here this evening represent organizations,
Qualities that Catherine seems to be embodying through its careful public display. Even in less formal settings, Catherine has appeared with pieces linked to Alexandra. Delicate pearl bracelets and small diamond earrings, which Alexandra favored for daytime engagements and private functions, have been seen on Catherine at charity events and casual royal appearances. These choices suggest that the passing down of jewelry is not limited to grand ceremonial occasions, but extends into everyday public life, creating a continuous visual connection between the two royals. Throughout these appearances, the trend is consistent. Catherine is constantly seen wearing jewelry that Princess Alexandra once chose for herself in public. From brooches and earrings to chokers and tiaras, the selection seems intentional, highlighting Alexandra's role in shaping Catherine's jewelry wardrobe. Now, with this latest development, people have begun to suspect that Princess Alexandra's jewelry has been passed down to Catherine instead of the very next in line, Camilla. And this idea may not be as far-fetched as it sounds when you look back at similar cases within the royal family's history. Royal jewelry has always carried unspoken messages, and sometimes those messages revealed future decisions long before anyone publicly announced them. A perfect example of this can be seen in the story of Princess Diana and her sapphire engagement ring. Before Charles proposed, that ring had quietly been shown to Diana on multiple occasions, worn by Queen Elizabeth and other senior royals at key events. Many believed it was simply a coincidence, but when Charles finally presented it to Diana, people realized the truth. The jewelry had been subtly placed in Diana's orbit long before the public understood its significance. The ring's quiet presence in her early appearances had been a soft signal of what was to come. Another example lies with the Queen Mother's Cartier bandeau, which Queen Elizabeth II frequently wore in her youth. Even though it was technically available to several senior royals, it consistently appeared on the young Elizabeth during public events. Only later did the world learn that the Queen Mother had privately chosen to pass Cartier bandeau to her daughter alone, bypassing others who would have seemed the obvious heirs. At the time, no one questioned it. They simply thought she was borrowing it. But in reality, it was already being placed into her future collection, quietly and deliberately. There was also the case of Princess Margaret's Poltimore tiara, a piece she wore long before it was officially recognized as hers. The tiara had belonged to a different branch of the family and could have gone to several other royal women. But the repeated appearances Margaret made with it in her 20s told a silent story that only became clear later. She had been chosen as its new custodian long before any formal announcement. These patterns matter because the royal family rarely does anything without meaning. When jewelry begins appearing consistently on one person, especially when it previously belonged to someone else, it is almost always a sign that a decision has already been made behind palace doors. The public only notices the symbolism after the fact. So, when people today see Catherine wearing Alexandra's brooches, chokers, earrings, and tiaras, not once, not twice, but repeatedly, it sparks the same kind of suspicion. Because these are not random borrowings. These are not last-minute stylistic decisions. These are pieces with deep personal ties to Princess Alexandra, pieces that Alexandra herself wore during some of the most important moments of her public life. And now, they are sitting gracefully on Catherine over and over again, while Camilla, the Queen Consort, has been seen wearing none of them. To those close to the royal lifestyle, this looks very familiar. The same signs, the same silent gestures, the same careful placements of jewelry on the next chosen woman, all pointing in one direction. It suggests a private decision, one that may have already been made long before anyone outside the family ever noticed. Now, the question here is this: why was Catherine given this rare privilege above Camilla? Keep watching for more. Why Catherine was picked above Camilla. When the question of why Camilla was bypassed in this subtle royal selection comes up, many answers are offered. People speculate about family ties, public image, tradition, and even silent palace preferences. But one explanation seems to speak louder than the rest, an answer rooted not in titles or hierarchy, but in how Catherine entered the royal family and how her values align almost perfectly with the way Princess Alexandra has lived and served. Because to understand why Catherine might have been quietly chosen above Camilla, you have to understand where Catherine came from, how she was raised, and what she represents. You see, Catherine was not born into royalty. She wasn't raised with crowns or jewels or centuries-old expectations. She was born in January 1982 in a middle-class family in Berkshire to parents who built their life through hard work and steady dedication. The Middleton home was not filled with formalities. It was filled with the kind of warmth, discipline, and grounded upbringing that shaped Catherine into someone deeply steady, compassionate, and quietly resilient. Those who knew her during childhood often described her as thoughtful, observant, and deeply disciplined. She was athletic, fast, and socially warm without seeking attention. These traits would later become defining qualities of her public life, qualities that many people also associate with Princess Alexandra, a royal known for decades of calm, graceful service and a life lived without scandal or drama. Catherine's life changed forever when she met Prince William at the University of St. Andrews. Their relationship developed slowly, quietly, and privately, far from the spotlight. And unlike many royal romances of the past, theirs was built on friendship, shared respect, and personal compatibility long before any public expectations appeared. For years, Catherine walked a delicate line, balancing normal life with the pressures that came with dating a future king. Through all the attention, she stayed composed. She never responded with anger or theatric, never chased headlines or sympathy. That quiet resilience, that ability to remain calm when the world was watching, is something Princess Alexandra has been known for her entire life. When William and Catherine married in 2011, Catherine entered the royal family with a level of grace that even long-serving royal aides admired. She didn't rush into royal duties. Instead, she learned slowly, observing traditions, respecting older members, and shaping her public role with patience. It was the same pattern Alexandra followed when she began her royal work in the 1960s, a slow, steady rise, centered around service rather than spotlight. But it was not just Catherine's transition into royalty that mirrored Alexandra's values. It was the work she chose to champion. So, don't go anywhere, because it gets better from here. Catherine's early initiatives focused on topics many people overlook: early childhood development, mental health support, addiction recovery, family support systems, and community-based well-being.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much.
She spent years visiting schools, hospitals, shelters, and charity programs, not for photo opportunities, but to learn how families and children were affected by the pressures of modern life. Princess Alexandra, during her own years of active service, dedicated much of her work to hospitals, disability care foundations, nursing institutions, and community-based health organizations. She was known for her interest in quiet humanitarianism, the kind that doesn't always make headlines, but makes real change. As those close to the royals often point out, Catherine's calm, steady approach to service reflects Alexandra's long-standing style almost exact. Neither seeks attention, neither uses causes for personal branding. Their work is deeply aligned in tone, focus, and sincerity. That alignment becomes even more apparent when you look at one of Catherine's most important roles, her approach to motherhood. Catherine has made it clear from the very beginning that raising her children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, is central to her life. She prioritizes school runs, time at home, emotional development, and a grounded upbringing away from excessive royal formality. She speaks about parenting not from a lofty place, but with honesty and practicality, something millions of people relate to. Princess Alexandra, although her circumstances were different, was also known for being a gentle, closely involved parent.
Many of you here this evening represent organizations.
She valued privacy and emotional closeness and kept her children protected from unnecessary public pressure. Those who knew her said Princess Alexandra believed strongly in giving her children a real life within the limits of royalty, a belief Catherine shares deeply. This connection, built on shared values about children, family, and emotional well-being, is something that many royal watchers believe may have strengthened the quiet bond between Alexandra and Catherine. Another reason Catherine is seen as the natural choice lies in her reputation. Over the years, she has maintained a remarkably clean public image. Few scandals, controversies, no confrontational interviews, and no public disagreements with the institution she married into. Her public presence has remained steady, respectful, elegant, and controlled, very much like Princess Alexandra's own decades-long record of unbroken dignity. Camilla, by contrast, has had a far more complicated public history. Although she has rehabilitated her image greatly, the long-standing controversies surrounding her relationship with Charles still shape public opinion in subtle ways. Even within the royal framework, her acceptance came through gradual transition rather than universal embrace. If Princess Alexandra wanted the Queen Mother's private jewels and her own jewelries, pieces full of emotional, historical, and family weight, to be passed to someone whose reputation is unmarked, steady, and universally respected, Catherine becomes the natural choice. There is also the matter of symbolism. Catherine represents the future of the monarchy, the next chapter, the next generation, the next queen. She reflects a modern, grounded, family-centered vision that many believe is necessary for the monarchy's survival. By giving these jewels to Catherine, Alexandra would be placing her legacy into the hands of someone who not only represents the future, but also understands the importance of honoring the past. Catherine is also known for her deep respect for older royals. She often credits the Queen Mother, and long-serving members like Princess Alexandra for guiding her path. That level of deference is rare in modern public figures, something Alexandra, a woman raised in the heart of 20th century royal expectations, would naturally admire. And so, when people ask why Catherine was chosen above Camilla, the answer becomes clearer the more closely you look.
And the work of the Centre for Early Childhood stems from one essential truth.
Catherine's upbringing, her calm strength, her quiet service, her dedication to mental health and family causes, her gentle parenting, her steady marriage, her respect for tradition, and her alignment with Alexandra's own values all point in the same direction. Catherine reflects everything Alexandra represented in her own royal life: grace, humility, responsibility, and an understanding that being royal is not about spectacle, it is about service. And in the royal family, jewelry is never just jewelry. It is communication. It is a legacy. It is a message wrapped in diamonds and history, which leads many to believe that the passing of both the Queen Mother and Alexandra's treasured pieces to Catherine instead of Camilla was not simply a matter of preference. It was a deliberate choice rooted in shared values, deep respect, and a belief that Catherine is the true carrier of a certain kind of royal grace that Alexandra wants preserved. But the story doesn't end here. Stay with us as we reveal Camilla's real reaction to this moment and explore what this quiet decision could mean for the monarchy's future. Camilla's reaction and what the future holds for her and the royal house. One thing that has fueled the growing belief that Alexandra's jewels have subtly transitioned toward Catherine can be seen in the way the public and certain commentators have interpreted Camilla's behavior in the weeks that followed. While nothing has been stated publicly by the Queen Consort, several royal observers claim that her recent appearances and mannerisms hint at deeper emotions beneath the surface. Some outlets even suggested that Camilla may have been unsettled by the sudden spotlight placed on Catherine's jewelry choices, a spotlight that repeatedly linked the Princess of Wales to Alexandra's legacy rather than her own. Those familiar with the dynamics of the royal household often note that Camilla is skilled at maintaining a composed public front. Yet, according to some commentators, the quiet tension surrounding these pieces may have prompted her to become more assertive in her public role. There were reports of increased palace activity, subtle shifts in scheduling, and efforts to reinforce her visibility at key engagements. Though none of this confirms any conflict, these patterns, observed and noted by royal analysts, have contributed to the growing narrative that Camilla may not have felt entirely comfortable with the direction of attention. And this is where the situation mirrors other moments in royal history, where symbolic recognition quietly signaled shifting influence. Commentators frequently reference past examples where a royal figure being given a prestigious role or honor was interpreted as a sign of favor, acceptance, or rising prominence.
We welcome One Rifles home after a very successful 2-year tour in Cyprus.
One well-known instance occurred in 1994 when Princess Anne was appointed Lady Companion of the Order of the Garter, one of Britain's highest honors. Reports suggested that her brother, Prince Andrew, was reportedly disappointed that the honor had gone to her first. To many observers, Catherine's repeated appearances with items associated with Alexandra carry that same symbolic weight. The parallels drawn between past events and this current moment have only intensified interest in how the Queen Consort fits into the evolving picture. But the difference between past situations and Camilla's current position is the future trajectory of the monarchy. To Camilla, this is not just a matter of jewelry or precedence. According to sources, it can feel like a quiet rejection, a moment where the royal spotlight begins moving toward the next generation. In a household defined by tradition, lineage, and public attention, such gestures carry more weight than many people realize. Take, for instance, the case of Prince William, who made it clear that his children should not call Camilla their step-grandmother, insisting they have 2 grandfathers but only 1 grandmother. This move, reported widely, drew attention to how William is shaping the children's understanding of family roles. Some royal commentators have said this action indirectly signals Catherine's central role in the family and emphasizes her influence over the next generation. It did not stop there. Reports indicate that when William eventually becomes king, Camilla may have a more ceremonial role in the monarchy, while Catherine takes on a more central public position. Observers note that King Charles has always aimed to maintain balance and respect for all senior family members, ensuring Camilla retains dignity and recognition. At the same time, Catherine's growing public visibility, combined with her association with Alexandra's jewelry, shows the careful planning behind the monarchy's transition to the next generation. For Catherine, this development is a clear sign of acceptance. Her public appearances with Alexandra's jewels, alongside her involvement in charities and official duties, confirm her rising prominence. Every piece of jewelry she wears, every event she attends, reinforces her connection to tradition, while highlighting her modern approach and readiness for future responsibility. Camilla's reaction underscores the delicate balance she now navigates. While she continues as Queen Consort, her role is increasingly seen as supportive and ceremonial compared to Catherine's emerging centrality. Analysts suggest that Camilla's influence may gradually evolve, allowing the next generation to take the lead in public life, while she maintains her long-standing charitable work and ceremonial presence. The children's closeness to Catherine and the Middletons also strengthens her position. Royal observers frequently point out that this attachment creates stability and continuity, reinforcing Catherine's influence.
I've been actually trying to keep quiet about reaching 3/4 of a century.
At the same time, It highlights Camilla's less central role in the children's daily life, emphasizing the shift in prominence and symbolic recognition within the family. Catherine's repeated appearances with Alexandra's jewelry are more than just fashion statements. They are symbols of trust, legacy, and continuity. Each brooch, necklace, and tiara she wears publicly sends a clear message that she is being integrated into the monarchy's long-term plans. By wearing these pieces, Catherine visibly connects herself to Alexandra's legacy, signaling her growing influence and the family's recognition of her role in shaping the monarchy's future. In contrast, speculation around Camilla focuses on her long-term role within the royal household. Observers suggest she may gradually step back from the central spotlight, maintaining mostly ceremonial duties, while others think she will remain visible in certain events, balancing her experience with Catherine and William's rising prominence. The symbolic transfer of Alexandra's jewelry has amplified public and media attention on the evolving hierarchy, highlighting the contrast between the two women. Catherine is young, relatable, and deeply involved in modern initiatives and charitable work, whereas Camilla, though respected for her experience, is increasingly seen in a more symbolic and backgrounded role. The children's closeness to Catherine and the Middletons reinforces her central position, creating continuity, privacy, and stability that further emphasizes the shift in influence. Ultimately, the passing of Alexandra's jewels to Catherine represents trust, preparation, and continuity. Each appearance strengthens her connection to the past while preparing her for the future, while Camilla's influence appears to be gradually adjusting as the next generation steps into more prominent roles within the royal family. What do you think? Was Princess Alexandra right to pass her treasured jewels to Catherine? And how do you think this decision will affect Princess Catherine's influence and future within the royal household? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear them. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more royal update. Also, don't forget to click the video on your screen next. You won't want to miss it.